It's time for art. So welcome to 10:30 morning art class with me, Deborah, from the Center for Enhancing Abilities. I'm from the Bergen location, but we welcome members from all locations. I haven't really had my coffee, so I'm not speaking properly. And I see that we already have somebody joining on. I want to guess now. In a few minutes, somebody remind me. I got to send out additional shout outs because I've been missing some people. And that makes me very, very angry that I've been missing some people that have been faithfully joining us for so many classes. And then I don't even acknowledge you. So I apologize. I know I missed Katie yesterday. I missed Hannah. I keep missing Hannah. I don't know why I keep missing Hannah. For some reason, her name, sometimes I miss Doug. So I apologize in advance. Wow, we got a lot of early risers. So welcome. Who do we got? I believe I got Alex on. Good morning. I was so happy that the other night we had our trivia night. And we did it for Zoom. That was like our first Zoom event. And it went really well. We only had a few people that needed to be muted out, but it went much better than I expected. So we're going to do it again in a couple of weeks. I think it's tax day or the old tax day. I think I got David J on. As you all know, I use initials for my Davids because I got lots of Davids. So we are doing a game show night. We did, hey, Jamie, what's up? I'm a little bit further away from my camera so you don't cut off my head. And the reason why I cut off my head is so you can see me do the work. There's a method to my madness. I need more space, so instead of doing it this way, I do it that way. So I'm not a technical person, so I apologize. Some of you may be asking, I only have Oreo with me today. Simon's got schoolwork to do, but maybe we'll have a special guest for Gertie. So welcome to art. I'm giving shout outs as people come in or they send me a comment. Usually I get your comments. Sometimes I don't. So welcome. Just checking in on everybody. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? So this is, I think Kara's coming on. I think is this our third week? Yeah, I think we started doing stuff 3 weeks ago. I don't know. Seems like it's been a year. If anybody agrees with me, let me know. One of my favorite mugs. Every day I try to share one of my mugs with you. This is some artist out in Philadelphia, and he was doing something cool too. He's been trying to keep his studio going for his employees. So Brian Januski or something, I don't know, but he's very cool. So and these are all handmade. So kind of reminded me of art, kind of looks like dripping stuff. And that's what we're going to be doing today. So we've got a good group of people. So I'm going to start with our lesson. Some of you wonder, Deborah, why do you just chatter on? Well, it's a habit. It also lets us get in and get ready and get set up. So welcome to everyone joining me this morning. I am in my Art Room Craft studio. And some people have been sending me pictures of their painted rocks. Please send me some more. I know Caitlin sent me some. Alex sent me a picture. So please send me pictures. I wanna share them with everybody. If you made socks, please send those for me too. You can email me, and I'll make sure I give my email or give a shout out if you need the email again. So what's today? We are working in quarantine art, I guess. So things that we have around the house. Good morning, Katie. Good morning. Oreo says hello. So I'm glad you joined us. I did put in, and I've gotten really good at this. So I sometimes before I go to bed, I schedule my Facebook posts for the day. So first post that will come out in the mornings, and at about 9 o'clock, it should be posted, is your online schedule for the day. And in that should also have sometimes materials that you might need. And I did do that. So hopefully if you got that, which you must have gotten something because you're here. Hey, Caitlin, what's up? Thanks. I got pictures of your rocks. They looked awesome, and they will be posted and shared with the world. So do that when it's an art day. Cooking, I explained to Stephanie, sometimes I don't always know because it depends. I just ran out of sugar last night. I got to go to the store. I'm a little nervous. I'm really low in flour. I'm really low in sugar. I have no sugar. None. Nada. Nunca. So, and then at 9:30, you'll have a task of the day, something to do. And I think today's probably pretty cool. I think it's a tour of the Museum of Natural History in New York. So go check it out. There is a new Google Classroom lesson. There's two. How did I run out of sugar? I made pumpkin bread last night. My watch is, I don't know, telling me to breathe or stand up. I made pumpkin bread last night for my family for dinner, and I used my last granule of sugar. I was very upset. So then I tried to do a pickup order, and then they told me there's no pickup after I spent 10 minutes. You don't need to know the boring details of my life. But I got my mask, my gloves. I'm ready to go to the store, so I don't get anybody sick or I don't get sick myself. So let's begin. We've got this really kind of cool spring theme and rainbow. I think Tony has checked in or just kind of scrolling on Facebook. So welcome. So, and I'm running out of coffee too, so that's really freaking me out. So what are we doing today? Today we are working with watercolors. You can do this any which way. The pumpkin bread sounds wonderful. I have to admit, it was really good. It had dried cranberries and walnuts. So maybe we'll do that here. Maybe we'll do that here. So today we are working on this kind of cool painting stuff that you would have around the house, stuff that you can do. You can do all this stuff. I know you can. And I love this. I'm going to bring it in. So what I love about it is the contrast. I love this kind of psychedelic, cartoonish background. Really, my colors are really bright. You could do yours really soft, but I love that it's colorful, sticking with that rainbow, kind of lift our spirits, right? We need to lift our spirits. And then we have these flowers. And what I like about the flowers is it's a really strong contrast to the color that we have, because the flowers are done in black and white. When you're working, you can do whatever you want. Like I said, I don't come to your house. I'm not allowed to. I don't think you'd let me in for more than many reasons. But you can color it in with markers if you so choose. But for our purposes today, we're going to be working on the contrast, that it's the color versus the starkness of black and white. So that is our project for today. And you're saying, Deborah, you're so talented. How on earth did you do that? Well, I'm not that talented. I'm really not that good of an artist. That's what makes art fun. I try to figure out how to do things. Looks like I have a huge forehead. How to do things. So we are going to do that together. So let's go over our supplies. It looks like we've got our core group of people. If you're chiming in, if you're coming in, you just got your coffee, send me a comment so I can acknowledge you. But proactively, I'm going to say hello to Hannah, because I've missed Hannah, I think, about 4 times. So I've got Katie, I've got Jamie, I've got Kara, I've got Caitlin. Those people I know I've got, unless you left, which is okay. I won't be mad. Alrighty. So what are your supplies? You are going to be working with, obviously, you need some sort of paper. Watercolor paper is awesome if you have it. If you don't, try to pick a thicker paper, but you could use anything that you have. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper, okay? Just 2. Working with your flowers, if you want to use colored construction paper and a black marker, you can. I think that's a clever way to do it as well. I'm going to be working with all white, all right? So that's what I'm doing, all right? So your first supply is some kind of paper, alrighty? Some kind of paper. Thicker is better, watercolor is better, multimedia, thick drawing paper, whatever you got. If all you can do is pull it off of a notepad or something, it's cool. Don't worry about it. Don't stress. Don't stress. All right? For those of you who are clean freaks, I mean that affectionately, you're going to put some newspaper or something down on your table. This is my crafting table, so I don't care. This table is older than my children. This was a table my husband had, I think when he moved into an apartment when we first started dating, so it's old. Blue's Clue. Blue's Clue. Is there something over there that I have? What do you see? Or is that what you like? It looks like Blue's Clues. It takes me a while. I'm not too bright. Kara's still with me. Awesome. Oh, we got Alex too. So, let us begin. Get your paper. You're going to need 2 sheets of paper. 1 to do the background and 1 to do your, sorry, Oreo. One to do your flowers, okay? So put your 1 for flowers, put that aside because we don't want that to get dirty or messy, okay? So there, I'm looking at my list over here because I'm getting older. I've got a cool studio setup now. So then we need watercolors, okay? You can also use like Crayola or whatever brand water soluble markers. That could work. You could also make watercolors out of that. You probably could use food dye as well, a little watered down food dye. Ideally, I like to show off some of my supplies. You could use liquid watercolors. That's how I get this really bright, intense watercolor. If you have liquid watercolors, not everybody does. So I might be going back and forth and using them. Usually with liquid watercolors, you water them down. They're pretty intense. Okay? They are. All right? I think this lighting is probably very harsh on me. All right, there we go. All righty. So, and this is a well-rehearsed show, guys. Some people say, hey, go back and edit. You don't want me to edit. This is regular watercolors, if you've got them. All right? So, if you don't have watercolors, this is what I'm going to make a recommendation. Essential stores like CVS, Walgreens or something are open. Send a family out to get you. They always have this type of stuff. I'm almost positive. And Staples may be open too. I think Staples is open because it's essential. You need it for work. Pick something like this up. We're going to be here for a while. Pick it up. It's good to have, okay? Alrighty? Pick up whatever you can. Whatever you can grab. Pick it up. Send somebody out. Or send me a message and I will get it for you and drop it off your house. Alright? So, we have our watercolors. You're going to need a brush. Now, usually, I'm a little funny about my brushes. As you can see, this is some of my brushes. I want you to get a fatter brush today, all right? All right? So, I've a nice, soft, squishy, I've got a nice soft one, like kind of a bristly brush. I think that's really going to work well because we're going to be slathering on paint or a watercolor. If you are doing this and you're just doing it through markers or crayons, you totally can do that. You can do that, and I'll try to direct you on how to do it in a way that kind of matches what we're doing. So pick a few of these. I don't know where I got these from, but they're like weird. I wouldn't usually use them because I like a stiff brush. I like to have a lot of control. I think there's like bristles flying off. These are not expensive because you know I'm cheap. So get a few of these. If you only have one, you only have one. It's cool. You just clean it. Alrighty? So get your brushes. Get your brushes. If you're working with watercolor, and even if you're not, if you're working with markers, I think this will work. You need some water. So get some agua. Get some agua. Alrighty? And sometimes I have multiple cups of water because I want, I'm not wanting to go back and forth and clean my water. So get that. So I'm going to move my brushes a little bit out of my way. Whoops. I'm going to move those guys out of my way so they don't fall. You're going to need paper towels or something absorbent. I think you could use newspaper. You could use a regular towel, but it's going to mess your towel up, or like an old t-shirt or something like that. But napkins, anything that's absorbent, you're going to use this, okay? So I've only done this once, so we're going to see how this goes. But yeah, so your paper, your watercolors, whether liquid, this will work fine. Your cakes, if you're coloring or drawing or using markers or what have you, that's cool too. You're going to use a magic marker of some sort. I love Sharpies, and we have a Sharpie lesson plan from Allison on our Google Classroom. I love Sharpies, okay? I have a stash hidden upstairs in my house. I almost killed myself with the scissors. So it could be any color. I like the black, all right? So you're going to work with a magic marker of some sort, okay? Scissors. You're going to need some type of scissor, okay? And glue. All right? I used a glue stick for this purpose. You could use any kind of glue, all right? You could use Scotch tape. You could if you're really desperate. You could use whatever. And if you do not have, I don't know where he came from. If you do not have paintbrushes, I don't know. Would houses more be prone to have paintbrushes or Q-tips? You could use Q-tips too to help you as well. These are special. These are safety swabs. Somebody gave me these once. So you could use Q-tips too. But like I said, I don't know if people today have as many Q-tips. What do you think, Oreo? Here. Oh. We are not socially distancing. Very well. Okay, so let's begin. So the first step to do this is we're going to be working with the background. I did not draw these on. What I did was I did the background, and then I took a separate piece of paper and I drew my flowers, and then I cut them out and I glued them on. That's the process. See how that works? We've done this in different ways from time to time. So you can do your paper anyway. This is landscape, meaning when we go to a beautiful place like the beach and it's a landscape, right? We like to look at the whole beach. We want to look at as much as possible as what nature has. I suddenly got very dark in here. This is landscape, all right? It's long, it's short and wide, like me. This is portrait, okay? So if we were taking a picture of my face, we would put it right here, right? Portrait. All right, we want to focus on our subject. So if it was Oreo, I guess, here we go. That's a portrait. We want to see Oreo's face. It's not always portraits or always faces. They could be other things, but that's what we call it. So ultimately, it's how you want your background to be, whether you want it. For some reason, I did it as a portrait. I wanted something tall. I wanted sky. You may want a lot of flowers. So if you want a lot of flowers, you may want to do it this way. But it doesn't matter, however, which way you hold your paper for this first part, unless you're thinking like, I want a lot of blue up here for sky, and I want a lot of green for the earth. If you're doing it that way, you're really thinking, I'm doing it randomly, that might affect how you have to make your decision now, how you want your flowers. If you want your flowers going this way, or if you wanted, I can't take them off, I wanted my flowers going across. So you might have to make your decision now. Stress, I know. I hate making decisions. The one cool thing about the quarantine, I guess, is I haven't had to decide where I'm going to dinner in like forever. That's something that my family and I were always arguing. Where are we going to go? What do you want? Oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do this. So your decision today is how you're going to hold your paper, how you're going to have your flowers. Okay? So Here are you. You hold those for me. Okay. So our first step is if you're working with liquid watercolors, if you're one of these strange people that just so happen to have them in your, I've got loads of supplies. You're going to get your paintbrush. You're going to start with some of your water. Now, I'm going to put it in a smaller cup. That's right. I got a lot of cups. I got a lot of bowls. I got a lot of junk all over my house. But you never know. Artists need it. Artists need it. It's not called hoarding. It is. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to work with this. All right? Now, if you want, and you're a little wacky like me, and you have little containers, I get these from like cat food. I think these were from puddings or jellos. You can mix your watercolor in here. You can use the tray of your watercolor, or I've got little ones. I just like to show off once in a while. I look like Bob Ross. You could use some type of plate or palette. Okay, so let's begin with knocking stuff down. I have a little thing of watercolors, liquid watercolors. I might be going back and forth to use them because it'll help me move faster for you. Because I know you all just want to spend all day with me. So I try to do it a little fast so you can get going. But we want very wet watercolors. Now, remember, with your water, you want at least 1 cup that's going to stay clean. All right, just get a separate cup. Keep that clean. We want clean water at the end because we want to disperse the color. And then you can use another one for cleaning your brush or adding to your paints as you're mixing them or you're watering them down. So I'm gonna get my paper towel ready. So give me a shout out if you're on, or if I've missed you, you can yell at me. So. Is anybody here doing this while we're doing it? Or I'm just curious, do you watch and then you do it? Because then the videos also, they stay on Facebook, but I also put them on Facebook. So you can go and YouTube, so you can access them anytime. So I'm just curious. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my brush. Okay, I got my brush and my water. Yeah, I like that angle. You don't need to see my face. And I'm going to get a very wet brush. Usually when I paint, some of you that work with me a lot, you'll hear me say, ooh, I like dry paints. I like a lot of control. I don't know why. It's the way I'm made. So I'm adding, there we go. So you can see, I'm adding, I hate when my paints mix. I'm adding a lot of water to my paint. And I can do it here, but I want to really make sure it's really wet. So I have here, if you notice, I just keep adding more and more water. All right? Really wet watercolor paint. And then what you're going to do, I have a mess. I'm afraid I'm going to spill something. We're just going to take a spot, and it's a really wet brush. And I don't know if you can see that. I'm just putting some paint. That's why I want you to have a nice soft brush. So I'm going in, I'm getting really wet paint, and I'm just kind of doing a blob wherever I can find a spot, all right? I'm doing it randomly, okay? That's why the soft brush really works nicely. A big fat brush. If you want to do really fine, you can, or you have a smaller brush, don't worry. Don't worry. So I'm working with a lot of blue here. I kind of like that. Some of my blue is dark. Some of it is not. Some of it is light. And if I were to pick it up, my paint is going to run. That's how wet my paint is. So it should be in some areas sitting on there. This is one time. Hey, I think we got Dave. Dave F. I've got, these are the Daves I know. If you know where that's from, you're awesome. And you must be very old if you know where that's from. It's from an old show. So for those latecomers, we are painting a spring and rainbow-esque project, really great graphic design, really easy, nice layers of work. We're working with water. Sorry, I didn't mean to use the wrong finger. We're working with watercolors on the base, so we need 2 pieces of paper. Hey, Dave, what's up, man? We need watercolor. We need some type of paper. You're going to need 2 pieces of paper. Put 1 piece away so it doesn't get dirty. You're going to need watercolors, something like that, some kind of paints, all right? So as you can see, my paint is really wet. See, it's pooled, it's got in there. Don't worry, Oreo. I got it. Now, I'm going to come back in. I'm going to pick another color with my big sloppy brush. This is a sloppy brush. I don't have a lot of control. When you're working with paintbrushes, your brush, the type of brush you have will determine, well, the type of, will determine your brush stroke, or I guess the other way to say it is the kind of work you're doing will determine what kind of brush. So if you're working in detail, you're going to want small, fine, maybe, you might be switching from flat brushes, angle brushes, very detailed, round, things like that. So I'm going in, I want a little bit more darkness, and I'm gonna, I think, was this my green? I think this was my green. Here is, I'm gonna show you the difference between a liquid. See how different that is? Whoops, it's running. So I'm just getting wet, just wet paint all over the place. See how I'm doing that? And I'm moving it around with this big floppy brush. And I'm just kind of letting the pieces of paint just kind of blur into each other. All right? Doesn't matter. You may have a pattern. You may be wanting to do like a, I don't know, a happy face. You may want to do a flower as your background. If you're painting something in particular, that's totally cool. I'm not mad. Go do whatever you need to do. It's cool. It's cool with me. So I'm moving on to other colors. And I'm just going to actually use a little liquid. I'm just checking. So I've got a little bit of liquid watercolor here. Oops. Okay. And I'm just putting it in. Now, when you're blurring your colors, you might want to be careful. You can use every single color on the rainbow. Okay? You can. I'm not coming to find you or say, hey, why are you using those colors? This is up to you. But what I will say to you is be very careful when you're working with certain colors. They have a tendency, especially when we're doing a wet project, they tend to run into each other. And if you have like a lot of colors that like your blue, green, and yellows will merge to make green. Your yellow, orange, and reds will merge together to make oranges. But if you've got your blue, purple, and red will merge together to make violets and purples. But if you start mixing your reds, your blues, your yellows, and your greens, and your purples, and they come together, sometimes you get brown. Which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with brown, okay? There's nothing wrong with brown. But, sometimes it has a duller effect. So see how I'm filling this in? See how I'm filling that in? My paint's pretty wet. It shouldn't be like glopping and like a flood on your paper, but it should be pretty wet, all right? So I'm moving around. Let's see. I don't know. I'm maybe going to add a little bit of red into my painting. I do like a little contrast coming in. So, and you're going to see where I'm doing this. And you might want to go straight to the edge. So see how I'm doing that? I'm going straight to the edge. Oh, I'm halfway there, right? So see how I'm doing that? And you can see a little bit of the brown. So I'm trying to kind of control the bleeding. Pardon that I used red. Bleeding of colors into each other, right? So if I'm going into certain colors, you're going to see a little bit of that. So I'm kind of moving it around, all right? And it's kind of this, that's why you also want newspaper, because you get that going on. What else? What else should I add? I'm not gonna add orange. No offense. I do love orange. What do you think? I have some red, maybe a little bit more red. Tell me what colors you're thinking of using. Chime in. chime in and tell me. Give me a shout out. From what I recall, I had Dave Finn. I'm not supposed to use last names, I don't know. But I got Dave. I have Katie. I had David J. I had Kara. I had Jamie. I had Alex. I had Caitlin. Did I miss somebody? Chime in. Chime in. Usually I get Christian. He must have went off to get a cup of coffee. No, he goes on different days. So, maybe I'm going to use a little bit more of blue. I just got to remember which one was blue. I think I'm going to use this one. Yeah. So you're going to see I'm using different types of watercolor paints. Some of mine are liquid, and that's just to make things a little faster for us. That's all. All right. And I'm showing off my supplies. And maybe I'll just add a little purple. What? And a little purple into here. Alrighty, so I'm just adding a little bit more. Going around my edge. Yeah, it's looking good. I'm a more exact painter. I think when I like to paint, I'm not really an abstract. But see how that looks? See how that looks? Just kind of like crazy. It's just crazy. Crazy. Now, it looks like a light coming out of my armpit. So, what you're going to do, I do recommend having a garbage can handy, which I do have. Because it's a little messy for some of you. See, I've already gotten that. So, you're going to slather your paint all over the place on your painting. I am done with my watercolors for the time being, so I'm going to push them aside. And my paper's still kind of wet, all right? But if you like what you got, leave it. If you want to move it around, you can to get some of that paint moving around. But what we're going to do is we're going to add, especially if you have a thicker paper like watercolor paper, we are going to add a little bit of, I want a clean brush. We're going to add a little bit of water. We're going to add a little bit of water on this to get to re-wet the paper, and then it'll kind of bleed some more. So, ta-da! I got these at a dollar store. If you're an artist, dollar stores are awesome. Okay, you could do this a couple of ways. See how I got my paintbrush wet and I just kind of did a little bit of tapping? You could do that. That's a cool way to do it. That gives it kind of a dotted effect. And let me see if I can show you. All right. That's one of the easier ways. Can't take me anywhere. So see how that kind of got in there? See how I got a little bit of that? Yeah, just some. And it's going to re-wet the, you're not going to pour it because your paper will tear. Okay? So I just kind of I'm just tapping my brush. You can also take your brush and just dunk it in the water and just kind of tap, 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 tap. You'll get bigger pieces of water. That doesn't make any sense. You'll get bigger droplets of water. Okay? Something like that. Get it wet. You'll start to see little mini puddles. You could also, if you're working with watercolor markers, what I think, oh, Katie just sent me something. That's looking pretty good, Katie. Thank you. I will post that. You can also use a Q-tip, and you can put that in there too. You know, like that. You can move the paint around. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to kind of let it blob. Some of my paint is moving around. So just let it get a little wet. Okay, not too wet. But now, the fun part. You're going to take some paper towels. You could do just one. I'm going to double up because I have a lot of water in some spots. Okay? Get it to the length or the covering. Okay? And you're going to drop it down. Yes, trust me. And you're just going to let it, you're just going to rub, don't pound it. Just be gentle. Gentle, gentle, as I say. And just kind of tap your paper a little bit, okay? Just gentle. Moment of truth. If you feel like, you know, Hold on to that. These also make something cool. I don't know what you could do with it, but save it. Maybe for another craft. Maybe it'll bring joy. Well, it'll get watercolors all over you, but if you run out of toilet paper, you can have colorful toilet paper. So here's my second one, all right? See how that worked? See how that's really funky? Because I used, I flicked, I guess, is that a word, Oreo? I flicked the paint. It made all little dots. So it got in there, it dispersed the color, it lifted the color off the paper. So I have all these like far out dots, okay? On this one, it's a little different. I moved the brush around, okay? I just took the water and I moved it around. So you can really experiment with this. I know a lot of you have done a lot of this stuff at the Bergen Center. I'm sure you've done it at the other centers too. I know Teresa does a lot of working with paper. She might use sponges. You could use a sponge if you really want to, but since we want to keep all our cleaning supplies safe and accounted for, just use a brush. That'll give you this tapping. That'll give you that kind of cool effect. Alrighty, you're done with the first step. So you are going to take this away. Some people say, "Hey, Deborah, can I use a hair dryer or a mini dryer of some sort?" What are they, like heat guns? I don't know. Yes, you totally can if you want, but I'm all about stretching stuff out and saving electricity. Nah, I just didn't need something else. My basement would probably burst into flames if I had something else plugged in. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it aside. Okay, aside. And I'm going to let that dry. Because you know what? It might be pretty dry by the time you're done with this. Now, here's the creative part. Well, it's all creative. It's all creative. So what we're going to do next is we're going to try to clean my stuff. Okay. Righty. Some of you, I don't think too many people have been in my crafting room. Some people have heard stories. It's a cool place. It's a cool place. I've got lots of things in here. Lots of things. You name it, because that's going to be your challenge. So those of you following along, start thinking. This is going to be a challenge. We're going to have an art challenge. You are going to pick the class or kind of the project that we're going to do one day next week. Alrighty. So now, can't find my Sharpie. Did you take it, Oreo? Those of you who know me as a teacher know I'm really protective about my Sharpies. It's a true story. We have colored all the different pretty colors in a box in the Bergen Center, and those are cool. We leave the box in the center, in the art room. I'm going to sneeze. That's why I'm like. And, sorry, unscripted reality, TV. But the black Sharpies, these are gold. They're black, but and the metallics, I keep those actually in the office. I hide those because those disappear. Coming to your house, I'm going to find them. So, Sharpie, any kind of marker. I have lots of markers here. It doesn't have to be black. It can be any color that you want. You could do different colors. But the thing is, depending on what colors you used in here, what really makes them pop is that, and it's kind of funny, it's against nature. It sounds a little serious. See, usually our flowers are the brightest things when we walk outside, right? They're green for the stems and the leaves, and they have all these wonderful colors. So we're kind of playing a little trick. We're reversing the image. We're making like a negative of the image. So that's what's kind of fun about this project. We're going to work with one color. You can use construction paper if you want them to be like a solid color. You can color them in if you like. It's whatever you want. But to get the full contrast is we're going to leave them, I'm going to leave them white, and I'm going to work with black. So if I used a blue marker, you might not see the flowers. They'll fade in. Or red. So you might not see them. They might not pop out as much. So I'm using black. But it's up to you. You're the artist. Right? Right. All right. So you're going to draw some flowers. That's it. You could draw a bird. You could draw a cloud. You can draw whatever you want. Now, let's see. If you wanted to draw a cloud, you know, usually I just make lots of bumps, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I like odd numbers when I'm working. You could draw a cloud. You could draw something. You could draw a sun. It doesn't matter. But the bulk of what I'm going to be focusing on is, and I'll draw a little sun in the corner. Okay? And you guys know how to draw a sun, right? We want it to look like cartoons. So, you know, I just have a circle with some rays coming out. Just a circle and some rays. So, whatever. But you don't have to have it. But I'm going to focus mainly on, you could draw a dog, you could draw whatever. I'm going to focus mainly on flowers. So there's different types of flowers, basic flowers that you draw. And my favorite, the easiest way to draw your flower, let's see if I can do this backwards and upside down, is now you want to give yourself some space for a stem, okay? For a stem. So my flowers are going to be coming up. Do not worry how it looks on this piece of paper because you're going to cut them out. But you don't want them running into each other because you need to leave a little space around the object. So if you notice here, right, there's a little bit of white going outside of my black line. You're not cutting on the line. So that's really good for a lot of us that don't like cutting and they're not that great. So this is perfect. So one way you draw a flower is you draw a circle. That's your center. And I don't know what that's called. If anybody's a science teacher, I forgot. What's the center of a flower? I don't know. It's usually got the seeds or things like that. Then you're going to draw petals. And the basic way that we draw petals, right, is we're going to draw round petals, right? Other little circles coming around, going around, going around, going around, going around. It doesn't matter if it's not perfect. That's kind of the fun. And then you're going to draw 2 lines for your stem. If you want to do some detail work, like little dots, we did this once, which was a lot of fun a while ago, but we didn't do this type of background. We did it under other background. We did doodling. So see how I did that? Maybe, I don't know, maybe this guy has a little leaf coming out. Okay, something like that. That's all we want. Something simple. Okay? So circle, things going on. Some flowers, I'm going to make this a big tall one, and I'm going to do it again with the circle in the middle. Some of them are pointy flowers. Some are pointy flowers, okay? And I'm just seeing, I'm just checking. No. The reason why I'm checking is I get very upset if I forget people. And I just bent my paper. That's okay. It's okay. So I'm going to make different pointed petals. See how I'm doing that? My hand's in the way. See how I'm doing that? Okay, just pointed petals. And I like that they're kind of cartoony. I really do. And once again, you're going to draw a stem. You don't have to. If some of you are saying, do I have to have a stem? No, you don't have to. But it kind of makes it look, it kind of adds a little, it just plays with the eye more. And I did a couple of little details. Maybe I wanted to do lines. See how I have that? I wanted to add details because I'm not going to color them in. I am working on, and I'm going to have my lines go the other way. Right? See how I did that? I'm working in black and white. So the only detail I'm really going to add is maybe some extra lines and things like that. So we've got a round flower, a pointy petal flower. And now one of my favorites is the tulips. I love tulips. So tulips are really easy to draw. And what you do is you make like a little cup. A U. Right? A U. A U. You're going to make a U. And then you're going to make a zigzag line. You could do it round I usually do mine zigzaggy, meaning at one end, I'm going to come down. See how I did that? And maybe the other end, I'm going to come down. Ta-da! Like 2 little points. Looks like Pac-Man having oral surgery, right? Right? Okay. And then I'm going to make another line coming up from Pac-Man's lip, I guess, whatever. And then I'm going to connect the 2. That is how you make a tulip. That's it. You can add little funky details like I did on my tulip. You can. It's cool. And I'm going to just draw another stem. Maybe this guy only has 1 leaf. Okay. There we go. That's a tulip. Hyacinth, huh? Daffodils are different too. So maybe you want to make a flower that has lots of little buds, right? So what you're going to do, I'm going to get you to show you, is you're just going to make a whole bunch of little leaves. Just a whole bunch of little leaves, all stacked on top of each other. I would start from the bottom, making 1 little leaf, kind of like 2 little feet, 2 little feet. The leaves on the bottom, and then just keep adding them. Just keep adding them. Keep filling it in. Ta-da! Isn't that cute? And then you're gonna draw your line, and maybe I'm gonna color this one in, this stem in, to make some contrast. Okay. All right, something like that. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna put some little, think of all your little details. Think of all your little details. This is a chance to really work on detail work. Okay? Our next step, after you're done, take your time. This is not, rocket science. You're going to cut your flowers out. So I'm going to cut them a little bit separate to help me. I'm going to cut them into chunks. So, and what you're going to do is you're not going to cut exactly on the line. This is kind of like a folky, folk art, kind of funky cartoon art. Does it look like a children's drawing when we were little? Yeah, right? That's great. These are great. You can make a whole children's book. So I'm going to show you here. See how I did that? I'm leaving white around my black lines. I need that, or you won't see it. It'll be impossible. So we want to see those black lines. So see how I'm doing? It's hard for me to cut underneath. I mean, upside down. So I'm just coming in close, but not exactly. So you could do it like with the tulip. I'll show you that in a second. You could just do it round. You don't have to get really close. But I want to kind of use the white outline in my paper to make the design itself. That's part of the artwork. Okay, so I'll show you, I'll clarify what on earth I'm talking about. Okay, and if you need help to do this, and I'm just going to cut the bottom off, boink. So see how I have that? I have some of the white outlining my design. That is part of the project. That's part of the design. All right, so what you're going to do is, now for some of them, let me try this. You might want it more rounded. Like, see how this one went, match the shape that I was drawing? This one for my hyacinth, is that a hyacinth? I might just make it just nice and curved. I might not go nuts and get all in there, all right? Let me know, how's everybody doing? They digging this project, or you think it's a stinker? Let me know. So see, that's a little bit more rounded. You do not have to be a master cutter for this, not at all. That's not what the point of this is. This is not to stress. All right, so let me do my 2 last ones. I got a little too close there. I got a little too excited. And once again, I am cutting close to my design, but not exactly. All right? Not exactly. Okay. Let me see if I can do something a little wacky here for my tulip. The last time I kept it kind of, let's see, get a little bit more in there. Okay, sorry. Sometimes I'm just having such a good time, I forget you're there. All right, something like that. Okay, and my last flower I'm going to do, okay, and then I'm going to check on my other paper. So this one I want it to be kind of pointy, and I'm coming in, and I just love the irregularness of it. I really do. Okay, the irregularness of it. Okay, so coming in, there you go. All right. So maybe I did a sun, you could do a cloud. I've got all my flowers, right? These are my flowers. I did 4. From a design perspective, you probably should do 5, but something about odd numbers looks pretty cool. So I'm going to get back my watercolor paper and wait till it's dry. Mine is pretty dry. Now I got to make a decision which way I want to hold my paper. So the last time I did it portrait. This time I think I'm going to do landscape. So you get 2 different views. So when you're working, I want you, don't glue them right away. When your paper is dry, and only when it's dry, you're going to design them, okay? You're going to put them in. So see how I'm kind of laying my flowers out? Think of your placement, okay? Now, let me see if I can raise this a little bit. I have mine all lined up on the bottom, okay? They're all lined up, matched up on the bottom. You don't have to do that. You can have them like floating all over the place. It doesn't matter. See how I have that? Well, they just floated down. You can put them in any way you want. Hey, Doug, what's up, man? I was mentioning that I'm hoping that I see you today. So we're working on our watercolor painting. All right, so go back if you came in late and you want to know all the steps and the materials. Go back and take a look, or go to our YouTube channel. So what I'm going to do, for some of you that know I'm a little weird, I like things very level, very orderly. So I'm going to have mine as if they're coming right out of the ground. So I'm going to lay them in the bottom there. I'm going to take my glue. I'm going to use a glue stick. You can use glue, you can use tape, but I'm going to use my glue stick, and I'm just going to put it, here we go. Let me just see. I'm trying to see. See, I'm just putting it on my flower, right on the stem. Make sure you get it there. If you're lucky, I'm not using one that shows when it's purple and then it dries. I love those. They're worth the extra money. They really are. It really helps you see. So I put the glue on the back of my flower. Okay, so I've got my glue gun. Make sure you get to the tips if you can. Really get in there. Okay, glue. I've glued myself, and I'm going to put it on, and I'm going to mash it on there. So see how it's coming out? See how it's coming out? Right? Cool. You know, if you need to add a little extra glue, like I said, I didn't always get the edges because I can't see. I like the purple one better when it's purple. I think they're usually purple. It's like a purple dye and it goes away. So that, if you're going to Staples or, as I said, CVS right now, somebody's going, tell them, pick me up watercolors and glue sticks. Get them. They're worth it. They're worth it. Okay? Because you're going to be here for a bit, and those are things we can use. They'll definitely have watercolors. I'm pretty sure. Dollar store is also a cool place. So I put my flowers in. I'm gonna put my son, not my son, who's busy working. I'm gonna get him for science next week, and I'm gonna put my little son here. Okay, a super cute, cartoony, adorable graphic Smart though. It's smart work. Because it's working with color bleeding, with color blending. It's working with contrast. It's working with graphic design. It's very stylized. It's abstract. It's a play on, it's a reverse of nature. It's a flip. It's a negative because the flowers don't have color, but the background does. So it works and it plays on your eyes. It is very cool. Oh, the sun. Yes, I meant the sun, not Simon. I meant the sun. Exactly. So let's do a little review. This is portrait. This is one way you could do it. Here, I didn't take the paint all the way to the edge. You don't have to. It's up to you. Here, I took it to the edge. We worked on watercolors. If you worked with, give me a second, peeps. Okay, if you worked with oh, I picked black. That wasn't really the good color to pick. But if you were working with a water-soluble marker, and I didn't do this, you could take your brush, you could take, I'm going to use a Q-tip, and you could kind of blend them a little bit. See how that's working? I used black and that wasn't the best. But you could kind of blend it and if you're seeing what I did, I took a wet marker, a wet Q-tip. I got it wet. And you could blend the colors out. You could do that. So that's another thing. Or if you have watercolor pencils, you could do that as well. But what we worked on, I'm going to get kicked off. I'm going to get the hook. Okay, portrait, or landscape. I don't know what's better. When I started, this is where I was going, but I kind of go this way. We worked on our blending and our bleeding techniques with watercolor. We want our watercolors. We want a big, soft, floppy brush. We want wet watercolor paint, not dry. And then we're going to go back with clean water. We did I'm not going to do it here. We tapped droplets out of a wet brush onto our background to get more of the spotted look, if you can see that. Or we took our brush, we got it nice and wet, and we rubbed it around to get more of a, I don't know what you'd call that. Maybe somebody can tell me. More of a softer look, a more like drawn out look. That you did. And then we put our paper towel on top to pick up the extra moisture. Some people say, hey, Deborah, I don't have a paper towel. Can I just let it dry on its own? Sure, you could. It'll take longer. Yeah, you could. It's just going to have a different look. One of the reasons why we use the paper towel is to get, sometimes you'll see the texture of the paper towel in there. It kind of mushes it a bit. It gives it an effect, but you could do it either way. It doesn't matter. If you are protecting your TP, toilet papers and napkins, totally get it. It's up to you. Then you're going to take your extra piece of paper. I worked with white for that full contrast, black marker. Draw your flowers and then cut them out. But remember, leave some white area around them. Okay, so it gives, you see those lines, those details. Use your marker. Go in there. Do little drawings. Do little dots and things, stripes. All right? Then you glue them down in a pattern, whichever way you want. Okay? Portrait or landscape. And it's beautiful. And you should put this out in your window so when people are walking and they see, hey, that's a rainbow. Because rainbows come in all different shapes and sizes. And I love it. So we're basically done for our lesson. Sorry, I'm just checking to see who wanted me. And it was nobody. And the other thing that I want just a minute of your time is I want an art challenge. You can either email me, you can put them in your comments on this thread to this video. I want you to tell me what art supplies you have at home. So, and then we'll make a class out of it. So I have a lot of supplies here. You name it, I probably have it. Yeah, I probably have it. I'm a little weird. I know some other people have more than I do. But you name it, it's probably in this house somewhere. So, which probably has you guys scared. I mean, I have gravel. I have rocks. I have yarn, pom-poms, flowers, feathers. You name it. Foamies, shells, sand, fabric. What else? I don't know. Bingo daughters. Clay. Glasses. You name it. Wood pieces. Sticks. I don't know. So I want you guys, okay, so Doug says, so this is what I'm going to try to make a list of so I can make a class. So Doug says he's got crayons, markers, paints, stamp pads, stamp pads. Jamie said her sister sent her some art supplies. So definitely things with markers and crayons. And Doug said paints and said stamp pads. All right. Anything else that you guys got? I'm going to try to pick some basics with some interesting. Like if you have toilet paper rolls and you want to do it, egg cartons. I'm looking over there because I got like 24 egg cartons. Do people have egg cartons? I got Shrinky Dinks, which I don't think most people have. I'm trying to think of other things. Do you have recyclable containers? I do want you to go. We'll do a second rock painting class. Please go and get a rock. We're going to work on a ladybug craft too. Mod Podge. Love Mod Podge. That's like the trinity of holy crafts. More paints on the way. Katie has paint. So paint is definitely one. Excuse me again. I'm in a basement, so it's damp. I have allergies. Egg cartons. Doug has egg cartons. That's what we'd like. Gosh darn it. I'm not sick, guys. I'm not sick. Now none of you are going to want to come near my house. Burlap, ribbons, rubber bands. What do you have and what would you like me to make a class with? That is your challenge. So, on this thread, or you can always email me with pictures of your work at CEA2, the word Bergen, at gmail.com. I will take your pictures and I will post them onto Instagram and our Facebook page because I think your work should be displayed because we're not near each other to see it. Let's see. Gel pens, coloring books, paint, I don't know what else. Go look in your house. Go look around. Go look in your kitchen. Go look at stuff. See what you've got and lay it on me. Tell me what weird or regular, I guess, things that we can use to make an art project. So I'm going to you can email it to me, you can put it in the comments, you can Facebook message me, whatever way, carrier pigeon might get here. Let me know what supplies you have and maybe and include a couple that are a little different. It'll be a challenge to me. And I'm going to put it together and it's going to be you. It's kind of like, what is that? What is that, Oreo? Chopped. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be like a reality show. So tell me what you've got. Keep the comments coming. I'm going to let you guys go so you can get on with the rest of your morning. I know I have to email some people. Some people might have already been aware of it. Nita's doing a Ring Central class on making butterflies. That's all I know. We have Lunch Bunch today at 12:30. And then we have music. We always end our weeks at CEA Bergen with music. Some people go and do games, but you can hear me singing all the time. My apologies. And but we end with music on Fridays. It's the best thing to do. Sets us up ready for the weekend. Your next week's schedule will be coming, but I need you to help me with art. Tell me what supplies you have. Things that you think you could use in art. All right? Email, comment, message, whatever you want. All righty? Everybody, let me see these pictures. Enjoy working with watercolors. Enjoy working with flowers. And I will see you hopefully later. If not, I will see you when I see you. Stay well, stay healthy. Goodbye.